What's up, guys? Kimmis here from Meanwhile the Man Cave. We take a look at all things pop culture, games, toys, or anything we think is cool. And today we are taking a look at yet another Todd McFarlane DC multiverse figure that is of Barry Allen the Flash. This is part of the Darkest Night Build-A-Figure line, based on the Dark Knight's Metal Speed Metal one-shot. In Dark Knight's Speed Metal #1, Wally West is in a desperate run for his life from the Darkest Knight, who seeks to take the powers of Dr. Manhattan from him and destroy the multiverse. Luckily for Wally, he has the backup of Barry Allen, Wallace West, and Jay Garrick, who attempt to stay one step ahead from the Darkest Knight and his army of Dark Flashes. Let's take a brief look at the box here. As with all the Todd McFarlane's, window box here. Titled character on the side, and on the back, just a picture of the Darkest Knight on the back and the other figures in the line. So, let's get this guy open and take a look. And the usual suspects here. You got a collector's card right there. And the figure stand. And we'll preview here what we're going to be opening up. Looks like he's got like 4 pieces of the Speed Force and the Darkest Knight's legs. Some of the Speed Force looks familiar from the Kid Flash we just did. So let's get these twist ties off and get Flash out of this plastic. Alright, the twist ties are off. Not a lot to see as far as the peripherals go. That's the couple pieces of Speed Force here that you attach on him once you get him posed. And the other set, like the ones that go on his legs. Not sure, we'll find that out once we put those on. And here's Barry Allen himself. It's kind of cool. I like the black suit. Again, this is based on the Speed Metal, Dark Knight's Metal one-shot. Like that the suit's got some texture to it. Got basically the lightning carrying down his arms. Okay, let's start out with his articulation. Help the head nod here. I wish it would go back a little bit further. I'd really like, if I have him on in a leaned over pose running, a little bit more range would be kind of nice for that part. You can tilt the head as well. And you've got your forward and back, obviously, along with the lateral movement. And again, the usual, between the shoulder and the bicep, you have some twisting. So glad that they do that. And you've got your double elbow joints, standard with most Todd McFarlane's. Wrist. You have some twisting, but you've got that standard hinge. So you got to make sure it's lined up before you move that. Otherwise, it'll snap his wrist off. As I always say, I wish they had that on a ball joint. But all right, legs. Got your lateral movement there. Keep this arm out of the way. Forward, not a lot of back because of the way this carries down. There isn't any real movement to the back. Double knee joint. And at the foot, you have some forward and a little back. Not a lot. Now, we saw this on one of the other Flash figures. The way this carries down, it restricts the movement of that foot. And then you have your toe joint. But I don't know. This could be designed a little better, so you gave you a little more range of motion with the feet. Moving to the torso, you've got the standard crunch right there at the abdomen. Really good range of motion there too, as well as some twisting in conjunction with a waist joint here. So you do have a nice range of motion with that. Again, my only gripes would be I'd like a little bit more with the head and quite a bit more with the feet. So let's see what we can do with these poses, get some of these peripherals on him, and I'm going to tell you what I think. Okay, this is kind of what I decided to go with, another running pose. I will say he was a little challenging to for me to get into a satisfying running pose, and I really think it's mainly because some of the restrictions with the leg movement, especially with that hamstring. Basically, if it went back just a little bit further, that would be nice for getting a dynamic run. The other thing I would like to do is if they'd actually given you a waist joint for him to bend forward, then you could have had him doing basically a starting position, like if they were going to race or something like that. Especially with a speed-based character like Flash, that would have been kind of a cool thing for them to do. I did use a NECA stand, as I've talked about in the other videos. It has a larger footprint, so I was able to get him up on one foot in a running pose, which is what I was kind of looking to do with him. Overall, I like the figure. I just feel that they could tweak the articulation with this figure and make it a lot nicer. Because a character based on speed needs to be pretty dynamic. Overall, if you're a Flash fan, I think it's worthwhile for you to add him to your collection. It's a unique look. And not to mention, you get to build the Darkest Night. You get the whole collection. So, final thoughts are nice sculpt, good paint. Could have made some improvements with the articulation. But overall, glad I have it. And I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and all your support. And come back for the next episode of Meanwhile in the Man Cave. I'll talk to you guys later.